Hello, hello. What is up, everybody? Dr. Vaughn here, world famous bariatric surgeon, author of 13 books. I'm doing another coronavirus talk. We'll be talking some coronavirus here for the next several weeks because this is going to be really dark times. And I know you guys count on me for setting the numbers straight for you guys. And this is an urgent plea for you guys. We got to take this a lot more seriously. So do me a favor. Hit the share button. We got to get more people in here. We got to make sure that people see this because I don't think you guys are getting it straight. I don't think the people are taking it seriously enough. So while we wait for some people to come in here, my lovely Marcy Vidal is watching. What's up, Marcy? Where are you watching from? Good morning. Peyton's watching on YouTube. Alicia's in Tennessee. Rosemarie's in San Diego. Good morning. April Day. Is that your real name? April Day. Robert Simpson, please cuss a lot. Okay. So hit the share button for me. Elena Wolf, what's up? How are you guys doing? Oh, my friend Clara Atkinson, where have you been? It's going to get bad. Going to get worse. Going to get worse. So California's in the house. What's up, Laura Lane? Scott, what's going on? Vancouver. Woo, man, some comments are coming in today. Now, Bay Area, awesome. South Carolina, Mary, awesome, guys. Good morning, Arminda. If you're watching this on the replay, you can fast forward to about the 5-minute mark. That's when I'll get started. I want to talk about some numbers that are coming, the BS that's coming out of Washington. Even the powers that be, they're not giving you guys it straight. I'm telling you, it's much, much worse than what they're telling y'all. And I know it's going to be bad. Peyton, Texas should have locked down a month ago. Same thing with California. Paula Nowak, we're going to talk about that today. Lauren's watching from Connecticut. Oh, Giovanna from Scotland. I got to get my international people in here. Look at that. Glasgow, Scotland. Nebraska's in the house. What's up, Jim? Marta from Toronto is watching. Awesome, guys. Very good. Albany, New York. All right, we're at 400 viewers. That's awesome. So, good morning, Michelle. Hope you guys are good. Oh, Darth 61 from Singapore is watching. Told you I wouldn't put too much weight on ivermectin, Gary. I know there's a crazy Houstonian talking about it. Houston doctor. I don't think he's a surgeon. Susie, Chattanooga, Tennessee. One of the twins is in the house. That's awesome. New Jersey, you guys are going to get hot. See, El Paso is getting over it, but it's still not good. San Antonio, Donna, you guys are about to catch on fire. Kate, LA is a hot mess. We're going to talk a lot about LA. Julie, you're totally right. You got to take care of your husband there. Alaska, you know, you guys don't have the same density of population, but it's not going to be good. So, Misty's in Conroe. I'm in Houston. What's up? What's up? Sarah, south of Houston. All right. I'm over here in Bel Air. That's awesome. Kelly Conklin. What's going on? St. Louis, Missouri. Wow, I have a friend named Kelly Conklin in Albuquerque. That's weird. All right. Rome, Georgia. Politics. Yep. Tell you what. All right, let's get started, guys. 4-minute mark. Hi, guys. I'm Dr. Vaughn, world famous bariatric surgeon. I'm retired, but I have a large social media following. So COVID affects my following. So that's why I talk about COVID. And you might know me from my viral video, How COVID Kills You, How Coronavirus Kills You, that has 16 million views. And since then, I've been kind of trying to keep it straight for you guys about what's been happening. I've been warning people in my challenge since June that this fall is going to be terrible. I talked about, in case you missed it, in my earlier videos, I talked about the wildfires. We were going to have a higher than average wildfire season, and California is still on fire. I also talked about how we were going to have 20 a higher than normal hurricane season. And so we've set records for the most number of hurricanes in one season this year. South Louisiana and Alabama was getting hit left and right. right? Now, let me tell you about a couple of things that are coming this winter. You're going to have mudslides in California, Washington area. It's going to be bad. You guys are going to have a wet winter. We have our first northeaster coming up to New Jersey and New York this weekend. And that's going to cause people, when you have power outages and stuff, people are going to congregate. People are going to go to shelters. That's going to spread the virus, just like the hurricanes did in Louisiana. That's why Louisiana's numbers are higher. And you guys are going to, that's what's happening in California with all the wildfires. People are moving out of those areas and congregating. Okay. So that's a problem. Now, how bad are these numbers going to get? Right. This is ridiculous. What's happening? What's happening? First of all, I'm non-political. I don't care who's in power. My life does not revolve around what somebody in Washington is doing. So I don't care about your politics. I will tell you the leadership has not been there, whether you agree with it or not. That's fine. It's been a total shit show, right? If you compare what's happening to us compared to what happened in Europe, Europe is where this started with Italy, right? They hit their first peak. They suppressed it. They had a couple of normal months during the summer. They hit their second peak in October, second wave in October, and now they've actually turned and come back down. It took them 8 weeks, but they shut down France. They shut down the whole country, and that's what they needed to do. That's what we needed to do. We never did that. So I don't want to hear anyone saying we're in our third wave. In America, we are not in our third wave. This is still the first wave. We never got back down to baseline. And now what we have right now is I'll say it. Let me hold on, type this up. We are currently in what we call, this is the worst case scenario. You could not have asked for anything worse than what we have right now. We are heading into the largest fucking holiday season, Christmas. Looking around, see if my 4-year-old is. This is the worst case scenario. Thanksgiving is mostly an American holiday. I know Canada celebrates their Thanksgiving a month earlier, but we just had Thanksgiving here in America and people traveled. Now, Christmas makes Thanksgiving looks like child's play. And we are setting up for the largest holiday season. After not paying attention, not listening, over 10 million Americans flew during the Thanksgiving holiday. Not once, but twice, because you got to fly there, you got to fly your ass back, right? So 10 million Americans flew, millions more traveled by car, and they congregated. Some people like just blatantly did not social distance, did not wear a mask, did not do any precautions. There's a club here in Houston who had some sort of concert with like 900 people inside the venue. I mean, this is ridiculous, okay? So the numbers are going to get much, much worse. We are in the worst case scenario. And I've been telling you guys that all along, our leadership from both parties has underplayed the severity of this, of what's going to happen, okay? And I'm here to tell you, we are in the first wave in the worst case scenario. Who remembers? I'll remind you guys. Back in July, we were panicking because we were going up. We had opened up the states too soon. We should have stayed locked down. Listen, we were lagging. And if you go back to my early videos, I said we are lagging Europe by 3 to 4 weeks. So whatever happened in Europe was going to happen to us. We were 3 to 4 weeks out. Well, guess what? We fucking opened up before Europe. Europe stayed locked down. And here's America. Hey, end of May, beginning of June. We've been locked down for 2 months. Let's reopen. We reopened 6 weeks before Europe reopened. But we lagged behind them by 3 weeks. So what does that tell you? So then what happens is we reopened end of May, beginning of June, and you start seeing the numbers go up. So by the time we get to July, we are freaking out because we hit a high of 75,000 cases in one day. I left Houston because Houston went up to 1,700 cases a day, 1,700 cases a day. I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm going to Albuquerque, where they hardly had any cases. And I spent the entire July in New Mexico. Well, fast forward now, we bent the curve back down, and then everything I said was going to happen. The wildfires, the hurricanes, school reopened, people are frustrated, colleges. Don't even get me started about colleges. Colleges, sports. Why the fuck are we having sporting events? Why are we having football? College football? Forget NFL. NFL, you know, like you get socially distancing. It's not smart. But why do we even have football? Now we have college football. They opened up college football, and our White House is bragging about how he started college football. You can thank me. I gave you back Pac-10, and the president of Pac-10 was like, Trump had nothing to do with opening up college football. So not only that, we opened up high school football. Why are we doing high school football? It's ridiculous. All right, so now fast forward, we got the numbers down, and we went back up, and then we freaked out when we hit 100,000 cases. 100,000 cases. Okay. Now, here's the crappy part. Today is what's the day? 5th, December 5th. Yesterday, December 4th, the U.S. had how many cases? Roughly, depending on which website you read. And these are huge numbers. Yesterday, the U.S. had 230,000 coronavirus cases in one day. We freaked out when we hit 100,000. I freaked out when Houston hit 1,700. LA yesterday had 6,600 cases. I thought it was bad last month when Chicago had 4,500 cases. LA yesterday had 6,600 cases, and they announced a shutdown. Good for you, Governor. You're just a fucking month too late. You should have shut down back in October. We should have shut down way back at the beginning of all this. So now we're at 230,000 cases a day. And if you go back to my early videos in April, when I was doing these projections, you have to remember, even if you bend the curve, our numbers are so stupidly high. It's new cases. These are new cases. So we had 230,000 new cases yesterday. That means we were going to have 230,000 cases today, or 220, or the numbers are so stupid. And in addition, you're going to have 230. Tomorrow we're going to have another 230. And for right now, it's going to go up, because what happened? What we are seeing now is a reflection of what we were doing 3 to 4 weeks ago. So what were we doing 3 or 4 weeks ago? I'll be honest with you. We were fucking holding rallies. That's what we were doing. We were holding rallies in airports and in buildings and venues. That's what we were doing. It was the last push before voting. And then we had protests. And then we had, celebrations in the streets when winners were announced. It's ridiculous. We have not even seen the push from Thanksgiving. You guys are talking about this is because of Thanksgiving. This is not because of Thanksgiving, guys. These numbers are a result of election rallies. And everything that went around the election rallies, right? It's not, and I say rallies, it's nonpartisan. Whether it was a car rally or an in-person rally or an airport hangar or a fundraiser or celebration or a protest, this is all what was happening around the beginning of November. That's what we're seeing now. That's these numbers, 230,000 cases, okay? And people still think it's a joke. People still think it's a hoax. I have former friends who are traveling from New Jersey down to Florida because Florida is open. What is wrong with you? Because they think it's a hoax. They think 99.95% of people recover from this. No, it's a 3% death rate. And now the numbers are getting so high that 3% of a huge number is fucking huge. It would have been different if we only had 10,000 cases a day, which is what we were hoping for heading into winter. But we don't have 10,000 cases a day. We have 230,000 cases yesterday. And the first northeaster hitting New Jersey this weekend. This is crazy. This is crazy. And again, it's not about politics. It's all the people who went protesting. It's all the people who went to nightclubs. It's all the people who celebrated the victory. It's all stupid. I don't understand why people do this. Now, so how bad is it going to get? It doesn't take a genius to realize this. These are not Thanksgiving numbers. All right? Here's my prediction, number 4. We are at 275,000 deaths. But I'm telling you, we are going to hit this number. 400,000 American deaths. 400,000 American deaths by inauguration, by the beginning of February. Next 2 months. We are going to blow by. Oh my God, we were so scared at 75,000 cases a day back in July. And now we're at 230,000 cases a day. And we haven't even seen the effects of Thanksgiving yet. Does that make sense what I'm just saying? This is all a result of the beginning of November. So what's going to happen? We are going to stay at 230, 230, 230, 230, 220, 215. Duh. Look, 200,000 cases a day. Every single day for December. Are you kidding me? You're going to see numbers like 250, 300,000. And somehow this doesn't affect, like, people don't make the connection. Oh, they're building hospital beds. They can build field hospitals. Oh, I'm not worried. You know, there's a hospital in Nevada that is building that has beds in a parking garage. You're a patient coming in and they're like, oh yeah, we have a bed for you. It's across the street in the parking garage. That's how bad it's gotten, guys. This is ridiculous. And this number, 200,000 a day, every day, if you have cases between 200,000 to 300,000 cases a day in December, it's not the hospital bed. That's the problem. Okay, number 5, we don't have enough medical. So here's the thing that we remember when New York was going crazy back in April. We had these healthcare heroes. We were celebrating them, cheering them on. We had nurses going from Florida and Texas and Arizona to New York City. And then the summer when Phoenix was on fire, we had New York City nurses going and traveling to Phoenix to help out the Phoenix, to pay them back. What are you going to do when the entire United States is an epicenter? New York was an epicenter. Then it was Phoenix was an epicenter. Then Houston became a small epicenter. Chicago was just an epicenter. El Paso was an epicenter. What are we doing now when the entire United States is an epicenter? I mean, how long is Wisconsin going to be on fire for? We are 2 months into Minnesota being red. It hasn't gotten better. It's getting worse. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, right? We don't have enough medical personnel. It's not the beds that's important, guys. Who's going to staff the field hospitals? Who's going to staff? You've got orthopedic surgeons running ventilators. Nothing against orthopedic surgeons, but they're not meant to run ventilators. Of course they went to med school, but that would have been years ago. You want the experts, especially when these patients are on 4 or 5 drips. Now the average person doesn't know what a drip means. They think it's like a plumbing leak. This is very complicated medicines that have to be hung a certain way at a certain time. And you've got to be able to make sure that one drip is not counteracting another drip that's causing like a heart irregularity, that's causing liver failure. It's ridiculous. Orthopedic surgeons are not meant to run ventilators and drips. And we don't have enough ICU nurses. Yeah, but we have nurses. Yeah, but they're not ICU nurses. You don't want a nurse that's used to being in an outpatient family practice clinic suddenly having to go into the hospital. Now they have to go not only in the hospital, but into the ICU setting. Oh, no. It's very different, guys. It's very different. We don't have the expertise. This is not going to be good. Now, for Thanksgiving, I said to you guys, hey, you got to test, you got to quarantine. And if you're going to quarantine for 14 days, then at least make everybody get tested. I have these test kits. I'm testing. I got this new antigen one. It's a nasal, and you got to shove it all the way up here. It's a home. It's the only home antigen FDA EUA test kit. And I'm checking it out, but I just don't know if people look at this picture, the instructions. Who is going to shove it up this far? Look at that picture. Who is shoving this thing up that far? I'm not sure. This is a finger prick, and it gives you results. So for Thanksgiving, I said, listen, if you guys are going to travel, because I can't make you stop, at least quarantine, at least buy some test kits, get tested, and keep it to one family. Test everybody who's going to be there, keep it under 10 people. And then I saw all the numbers from people traveling, 10 million people flying. And I was like, dude, you can't even gather for Thanksgiving. That's way too many. We're going to have an explosion. So now we have this explosion. And now I'm telling people, dude, you can't even gather for Christmas. Like, I'm not even trying to sell you my test kits. Like, don't even bother. Like, do not gather for Christmas. And by Christmas, I mean anybody outside, not your household, but outside of your house. Y'all should not be gathering. If they don't live under your roof, they do not need to be in your house right now. You should pretend, not even pretend, you should have your own lockdown. You need to be staying home, only going out for essentials, groceries, doctor's visits, etc. It's just like back in April. You have to act that way. Now, what if I'm an essential worker? Well, then you've got to protect yourself, which means what? It's out there. So you have to protect your family. You have to be even more vigilant. See, we've forgotten. Who remembers when we first started this? I said, hey, listen, if you go out, when you come back home, you got to wash your hands. Happy birthday to you. You have to sing happy birthday twice. And then I said, what? You have to take off your clothes in the garage. Who remembers this video? You got to go hit a shower. You can't hug your babies. You got to shower first, and then you can go hug your babies. You have to act like that again, guys. Like, you have to be even stricter. So if you're an essential personnel, you got to act like that. If you're a delivery, grocery service, if they're making you work, if you need to work, you've got to start thinking like this. Let me tell you what to do. Higher than recommended precautions, okay? This is what we need. The language that's coming out from our CDC, our doctors, the White House, the language that you're seeing on television shows is not strong enough. Dr. Fauci is still telling you, and I respect Dr. Fauci a lot. He's like, hey, just hang on. Vaccines are right around the corner. No, they are not. Vaccines are not right around the corner. See, when you tell an average person, hey, just hold on, vaccines are right around the corner, that gives the average person permission in their heads to let down the guard. Does that make sense? Dr. V, crazy skinny Asian doctor, is telling you, no, do not let down your guard. You have to do more than what's recommended because what they are telling you is not enough. We are not testing enough. You need to test repeatedly. I test myself every 10 to 14 days. You've got to test repeatedly. It's not one test. And what you're going to see, And you've already seen it. I've been telling y'all, you're going to see longer lines, and now you have 5-hour waits. You got people lining up for these nasal tests hours before they open, and then you're in line for hours. You're going to overwhelm the labs again. You're going to have 3, 4, 5-day turnarounds. Hey, comment if you have had a test recently. How long did it take for you to get results back? 2 days, 3 days, 5 days? Comment, how long has it taken you to get your results back? Because with the PCR, you got to send it into a lab. You don't have enough reagents. They're going to start doing that pooling thing again, where they pool, let's say they pool 100 tests. If one goes test positive, if they're all negative, then you've tested 100 tests. You're good. Look at this, 5 days. Look at this, 3 days. Look at this, Vicky, 1 week, a week for Lisa. Look at that, 3 days. Glamma Bama, 10 days. Look at that, 10 days. You see what I'm saying? 3 days, right? 7 effing days for Susanna. See, these numbers are getting crazy again, okay? You're going to overwhelm the labs. They're going to run out of reagents. So what they're doing is they're pooling. So a method called pooling. So if you do 100 tests at a time, if they all negative, then you're good. If the batch comes back positive, then you have to go back and test every single one of them to see which one was positive. But guess what? They didn't do that. LabCorp got busted for not doing that back in June when they were overwhelmed. And so then what happened? People were getting positive results. Those are the false positives. That's the only way to get a false positive, when it's a lab problem. So you start hearing conspiracy theories about people testing positive and they never even showed up to take the test. You've read these, remember? That we're going to go back to those days again, because you're going to overwhelm the freaking system. Okay, so what you got to do now is you got to have home testing kits. You got to test frequently, but most importantly, you got to shut down. You got to do more. You have to do more than what they're recommending. You got to go back to crazy, man. And I'm telling you, what was crazy? I'm doing face masks plus a face shield when I go out. Face mask plus a face shield. I was going to wait for colder weather, but I'm not now. Houston, it's like 60 degrees. I'm not waiting. If you are in a hot state with, by hot, I mean a bunch of coronavirus, and it's cold weather, you better be wearing a face mask plus a face shield. Why? Because during the winter, what happens? Cold, I have allergies, I have runny nose, sniffing, I'm sneezing all the time. You get colds, you get the flu, and coronavirus. And people are going to be sneezing left and right, and you're not going to know if you just walk through a puff cloud of cold, allergies, flu, or coronavirus. And you're going to get coronavirus through your pores here in your eyes. It's transmissible. These are mucosa. It's all connected into this space. Let me bring up that picture again for you guys. Anatomy lesson. See, they're all connected in the sinus spaces. So you got to start wearing face masks, face shields. You got to start washing your hands again several times a day. You got to start changing your clothes when you come home if you've been out, especially if you're an essential worker, UPS driver. Erica's sister is a UPS driver. Now her brother's an assistant, a helper too. They better be changing clothes in the garage, going back to those crazy times when we were all petrified. Now, why, Dr. Vong? Why? Why when the vaccine's right around the corner, et cetera? The reason is because there's so much coronavirus out in the community. There is 10 times more than what's tested. There is 10 times more coronavirus out there than what's tested. Let me do an analogy for you. Let's say you have a dog and your dog shits in your backyard. And you were like me back in the day, never picked up the poop. You have one small dog, you can get away with not picking up the poop until the next rain washes the poop away. You get 2 dogs, more poop. 3 dogs, more poop. Eventually, you got so many dogs pooping out there, you will eventually step on some poop. That's where we are with coronavirus. You got millions of dogs pooping in your little yard, you're gonna catch it. You got so many cases out there. It's out there in the community. That's what it means by the positivity rate. It's Dr. Vaughn, these numbers are higher because people wanted to test for Thanksgiving. No, the positivity rate's high. You know, you at one point in South Dakota, 1 out of like 2 is like 50% positivity rate. People who tested had coronavirus. The numbers are high. New York City, positivity, they shut down schools because they said 3% positivity rate. Now it's higher. New York City is up to 2,600 cases a day, which you can double. I am telling y'all right now. Next Saturday, when I do another coronavirus video, next week, New York City will be double. There'll be 4,000 cases. Who would have ever thought LA hit 6,600 cases yesterday? And it's going to get worse. We haven't even gotten the Thanksgiving push yet. So what number am I on? I don't know. I'll make up number. Number 5. Number 6. This. Okay. So, as a reminder, we have not seen the Thanksgiving surge. This is not the Thanksgiving surge. Maricopa County, Phoenix is on fire again. There are like 2,500 cases. Miami is over 2,000 cases. And this is Florida. Florida won't shut down. They're still letting bars and restaurants open. People are flocking to Florida. Why? Why are you going to Miami? You are asking, you're walking into the oven, and now you're wondering why you're getting burned. And you're having people come back. Here's another prediction for y'all. Mexico is going to be the next freaking like non-American hotspot. Why? Because this is the normal time for Americans to go to Mexico to get away from the winter, the cold weather. Guess what? Mexico is not closing down, has not closed down its borders. And guess what? They are not testing for coronavirus. They do not require you to have a negative coronavirus test. Oh, but Dr. Vong, I just came back from Mexico. It's all, they would wipe everything down. What does it matter if they wipe down? If they're not testing people who's coming in, it doesn't matter. And what's happening is you're having all these Americans from these hot spots flying into Mexico, not being tested. You can wipe down all you want. You are overwhelming the system. The precautions that they put in place, I'm glad they put them in place, but now you're going to be overwhelmed. You can't do it. You're going to see the Mexican numbers go crazy. And here's the other thing. You can't trust it because they don't have the infrastructure to test as much as Americans do. They don't have the truth in reporting that we have here. But I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Mexico's going to be crazy. Americans, we need to shut down. Don't wait for your government to require you to shut down. Shut down. If you have a friend or loved one who doesn't believe that this coronavirus is real, who thinks that like the shutdown is stupid, you got to unfriend them. You say, dude, you're not coming over for Thanksgiving. You got to stop hanging out with them. My last prediction, everybody, watch this. Comment right now. If you know somebody, directly know somebody who has died from coronavirus, comment if you've lost a loved one, because I need to get people to understand this. Who knows somebody? Who knows somebody? Comment if you've lost a loved one already. I know somebody. I've had a friend who died earlier. Lisa Tharp, yes. Peyton Moore, yes. Look at this. This is horrible. Chloe, I've lost 3. Felicia, yes. Olivia, my cousin. Suzanne, my dad. Look at this. See what's happening? Look at this. I've lost a friend, her husband. I've lost several friends, right? Look at this. Sharia, my uncle died yesterday. Daniel, 3. Clamabama, uncle, friends. The numbers have gotten so big. My cousin died 3 days ago from week. Look at that. My sister's about to die. My coworker, a husband and a wife, a long friend from college. Oh, look at this. Our priest. This is horrible. The numbers are going to get so big that we will all be touched by this. And I'm here to tell you, for the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna be on pretty much every day. Maybe I might even go back on later today to remind you guys. They're not, the language is not strong enough. Vaccines will not be here in time. You're not gonna, listen, let me do one real quick thing about vaccines, okay? Number 7. Do the math for you all again, okay? If you're lucky enough to be one of the ones who gets a vaccine, vaccine immunity will not kick in until Valentine's Day. So they're talking about UK approving the Pfizer vaccine, and healthcare workers could get vaccinated as early as this coming week. So let's say mid-December. And let's say the FDA approves vaccines, the Pfizer vaccine, this coming week for the United States, which means the following week, which means we'll call it towards the end of December. Okay, mid to end of December. All right. So it's a double dose vaccine. So you're going to get it, the first dose towards the middle to end of December. The second dose will be the middle to the end of January. That's your second dose. And then it takes a month for you to form antibodies, to have enough antibodies that you feel good. So the immunity response actually won't be until Valentine's Day. So first dose is mid to late December. Second dose is mid to late January. That means immunity at the earliest will be February, will be Valentine's Day for those who gets it. Now we, the people that are not the first responders, widely dispersed vaccine for the public will be the summer, not the spring, the summer. There's not enough vaccine production to go around. Pfizer, they have already announced a reduction in the number of vaccines. Pfizer initially was 100 million doses. They've cut that down to 40 million. Moderna was 50 million. They've cut that, they were 100 million. They've cut that down to 50 million. Now they're talking 40 million for both the Pfizer vaccine and the Moderna vaccine. There are 6 candidate vaccines in trials right now. We will need all 6 manufacturers. We will need all 6. With the Oxford one, which is the AstraZeneca one, probably being the one, I did a video last week on that, which will be the one that ends the pandemic, because it's old technology and they can charge, they can make it for $3 a dose, and it's a single dose, $3. And so you're going to get that dispersed into poorer countries. This Pfizer vaccine and Moderna vaccine is a new mRNA technology. It's expensive. It's hundreds of dollars per dose. So the mass of us is not going to get it to July, and I'll say July 4th, Independence Day. We're going to finally break free from this fucker. Independence Day will be July 4th. So now that's your first dose. July, August for your second dose. September, Labor Day. Labor Day weekend. September, before we really have any sort of mass immunity. Now, which is some good news. So next fall, your kids will be going back to normal school. I mean, it'll be going back to a new normalcy. Colleges will be safer. You'll get your college football next fall. This summer, you're going to start seeing some relatively, this spring, they're going to reopen slightly. It's depending on what these numbers do, but we are going to be so overwhelmed this next month. I'm pleading with you guys. The language that's coming out of our leadership is not strong enough. We should have shut down all of these states a month ago, October, really, when the Midwest started getting red. I mean, Governor Newsom just locked down LA, California yesterday, beginning of December. Good for you, dude. And he's getting pushback. But it's 2 months too late, man. We had 230 cases yesterday. So what you will need is to wear a face mask plus a face shield. Just go on Amazon, order any face shield. You got to go back to washing your hands, gel, hand detergent. Outside, I put out some free masks, free little hand lotion bottles for my neighbors. When they walk by, they can just pick up a free mask. If you can afford that, do it. Just, because you gotta, the zone. You got to go back to like changing your clothes. If you are an essential worker, if you are on the front lines, when you get home, you got to take off your clothes in the garage, put them in the hamper. You got to go take a shower before you hug your babies. It's necessary. The language coming out of our leadership is not strong enough. They're telling you, just hold on, vaccines are right around the corner. Dude, if Uncle Billy believes that, don't fucking let him in your house. You got to listen to me. These treatments are not around the corner. We've got several months to go. Okay? Get tested frequently. If you want a test kit, they're $50 each. There's the wholesale price, minimum order of 50, minimum order of 20. I do for orders of 40 or more, I give you free shipping, free overnight shipping. I can overnight these test kits to you, but they're $50 each, minimum order of 20. So you can go to my Facebook page if you're watching on Facebook, facebook.com/Dr. Vong. Send me a message, Dr. Vong, 24,000. So I know it's $1,000. 24,000. I can get these out to you tomorrow. Actually, not tomorrow because it's Sunday. I FedEx it. I send them out on Monday. You'll get them the next day, Tuesday. But you need a bunch of tests. You can't just test once. You can't afford it? I'm sorry. You'll have to get in line. This is a wholesale price. I mean, it's just enough profit for me to cover the shipping and the packaging. It's everything you need in here. It has the buffer. It's got the finger prick. Every test has a finger prick. I had these instructions made, gloves, the test, the rapid test. You get these results in 10 minutes. It's a finger prick, just like if you're doing diabetes. It's an antibody test. It checks for IgG and IgM. It gives you results in 10 minutes. You don't have to send it into a lab. You don't need any special equipment. So just message me on facebook.com/Dr. Vong. Dr. V, 20 tests for 4,000. So it's 24,000 minimum order, right? Free shipping for 40 or more. Get in with some friends. Get in with your little pod. But I'm telling you, you can't gather. You can't gather for Christmas. Even if you test, even if you quarantine, it's too risky. Why? There's too many cases out there. Somebody's got it. I promise you. Dr. Brooks came out last week and said, if you gathered for Thanksgiving, you have to assume you're positive. We didn't gather. Right? This is real talk. All right? I can come back tomorrow. Who would like to see me test myself? If you want to see me test myself, I'm due for a test tomorrow. So I'll test myself. So put a 1 in the comment section if you'd like me to test myself. And comment if you'd like me to test my nasal. I have this nasal antigen one it's the only FDA EUA approved antigen test. So some people want the antigen, that's the actual proteins, and not just the antibody, not just the blood test. But you got to be able to shove this thing way up your nose, man. Like, I don't know if I want to shove it that far back. I've got a lot of allergies. Shove that way back up in there. Pull out a bunch of boogers for you guys to see. But I'm trying to offer you guys solutions. If you want to sit in line for hours and hours and get a result in 5 days, 7 days, go ahead. But if you want a fast answer, 10 minutes, then message me about these rapid tests. Let me take a couple of questions real quick, okay? Daycare. Tony Wynn, good question. Daycare. As long as everybody's tested, you're okay. Now, the little kids, we know now, we've got good data. Little kids under the age of 7, I would say 10, but safely under the age of 7, don't really spread the virus. They don't really spread the virus. Yes, I know that there's been like a 3-year-old that's died, etc. But for the most part, they recover and they don't really spread the virus. It's the super spreaders. Tony, this is a. Let me hold on. Julie, just go to facebook.com/Dr. Vaughn. Send me a message. $50 each, minimum order of 20. Minimum order of 20. Okay. So the super spreaders are this: ages between 10 and like 20. So you're talking middle school. Kind of middle school to college age kids. Those are the super spreaders. So if you got a college age kid, 21, 22, you have a teenager, 17, they're the super spreaders. We've studied this now. We know who the super spreaders are. They're the ones who need to stay away from grandma and grandpa. It's not the little kids. It's not the daycare, right? I think the mRNA vaccines are safe. We don't have enough long-term data, but we will keep testing it for sure. Alan, secondary schools, it's exactly what I said. Yeah, the super spreaders are 10 to 20-year-olds, 10 to 21-year-olds, etc. Right? Yeah, the nasal, you got to push this up, Kathy, my sister tested positive Wednesday. When should my friend test herself? Sister tested positive Wednesday. When should my friend test herself? Usually 5 to 7 days from exposure. 5 to 7 days from exposure, and especially, but the symptoms are the key. Elective surgeries, Marianne Adams, they're going to be canceled. Daniel, you're not thinking long enough, dude. You don't need 6 test kits. You need 26 test kits. You need a lot more. We're in this for months and months. You can't test just one. I have a 14-year-old and a 4.5-year-old. Yeah, you can get false negatives with any test, Matt. Any test. Paula, why do people so ignorant about virus? I need to wake up and start being proactive. They do. And yes, you can get reinfected. You can get reinfected. We know that now. We know that now. Can't do the math. The numbers are high. Death rate is around 3% here in the United States. Tango just ordered some test kits for me. Testing myself tomorrow. Thank you, Dr. V. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. It does. It shows current infections. Oh, wait a minute. Let's do symptoms first. What about all people without symptoms? That's right. You can be an asymptomatic. Your most infective time is the day before you have symptoms. So when you get symptoms, when you start developing symptoms, for the 48-hour window before then was when you were the most shedding the most virus. You're the most infective. And then you'll continue to be infective for around 7 days. 7 days afterwards. That's why they're changing their quarantining numbers, right? All right. I do need some people. Well, they're not the super spreaders. It's really the adults. Outdoor gyms, Dr. V. We can't do anything, man. I'm telling you, nothing. They're still going through their trials for the AstraZeneca. I had some questions about, will the vaccine work like the flu? You can still get a lesser case. Yep. You can still get it. But it reduces your chance of getting it. Both vaccines so far have shown this, the Moderna and the Pfizer. You can still catch the virus even after you get a vaccine, but both vaccines have shown that you'll have a decreased number. It's protective, but even if you catch it, you have a milder symptom of it, a milder case of it. And I think it was the Moderna one. Yeah, the Moderna one showed that no cases went to the ICU. If you got vaccinated with Moderna, nobody was hospitalized. Nobody was hospitalized. So that's really, really good. How long immunity does after you recover stays with us? We don't know yet. We're starting to see some people start losing it around 10 weeks. So we don't know yet. See, there's a lot of questions here that people are just like just making shit up. Somebody was like, Dr. V needs a moderator. I really do. That's okay. All right. So, okay. Anyway, for the 1,100 of you guys watching, thank you guys so much. Remember, I love to end these broadcasts like this. Prayers and love and wishes go out to our healthcare workers, our nurses, our doctors, our nurses' aides, our NPs, our pulmonary techs, our lab girls, our lab guys, our venipuncturists, phlebotomists, lab techs, everybody who's coming in contact with this. They're not getting hazard pay, guys. This is their regular jobs, and they are literally walking into the minefield. And now it's everywhere. Now you're having people in hallways. You have code blues for people in hallways waiting for beds and ventilators. It's not good. You guys are about to see terrible, terrible suffering, terrible suffering. So prayers and love and wishes go out to our first responders, our police, our EMTs, our paramedics, but remember what I like to say, they are not the front line. Yes, frontline workers. No, they are not the front line. Well, Dr. Vong, if they're not the front line, then who's the front line? We are the front line. People like you and me, we are the front line. What happens with this pandemic depends on what we do. How we behave. Are we wearing masks? Are we staying home? Are we washing our hands? Are we being mask holes? Are we still trying to say conspiracy theories? Are we still trying to act like it's an election thing? It's a Trump thing. It's not, what happened to November 4th? People were sitting there saying, hey, November 4th, COVID's going to go away. Did it go away? No. It doesn't care about your politics. It doesn't care about your age. It doesn't care if you're rich or poor. The coronavirus doesn't care. We are the front lines. We have to protect our loved ones who are putting themselves in harm's way, our friends who are nurses and aides and techs and doctors. I found out this week, I lost a doctor friend from COVID this last week who spent his whole life caring for patients. And now he passed away from COVID. We are the front lines. They are the back lines. They're trying to keep us healthy. The suffering is going to be immense for the next couple months. And yes, I understand. It's going to cause a lot of panic, protests, people spreading conspiracy theories, rumors. Ignore them. Listen to me. These numbers are going to go through the roof. We have not even seen the Thanksgiving surge yet. Love you guys. Be safe. See you next time. Please share the broadcast. Thank you.